What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Abigail Williams, entitled The Accuser. This is released on Candlelight Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based originally out of Phoenix, Arizona, but are now based out of Olympia, Washington. And the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very occultist, spiritual, experimental style of black metal. Yeah. Abigail Williams are one of those musical projects that have never really stuck to one sort of style of music. Every single release has had some element or root of black metal tied to it, but everything is very much different. You can tell from the very early beginnings of a project like this, their 2006 EP Legend, to their first two full-lengths, In the Shadow of a Thousand Suns, and 2008's In the Shadow of a Thousand Sun, and 2010's In the Absence of Light. Both very different records in their own right, but both very much dabbled in the ideas of symphonics, singing, traditional black metal guitar riffs, shrieked vocals, just a lot of traditional elements in both of those sort of records, once again underlying some of the symphonic sort of key-driven themes. And I thought those albums had some really great songs to be heard on them, and I really enjoyed that era of Abigail Williams. But then in 2012 we got an album like Becoming, in which they decided to strip things down just a little bit and change their style to a more tremolo riff-driven, Cascadian sort of style, a la Wolves in the Throne Room, so to speak. My opinion on that album then is the same opinion that I have now. I really wasn't a fan of that record. I really wanted to like it more. I mean, I liked it at first, but the interest sort of drove me out. I really didn't think it gelled all that well for me, and I felt that there were a lot of good ideas being represented there, but I really don't think the payoff fit that well for me. It's just personal opinion, and I gotta stand by what I say, so that's that. But ever since that album, there's been a lot of changes and things brewing within this band. Of course, for those that know, the main man behind this project, Ken Sorceron, did a stint in the band Lord Mantis and played on last year's Death Mask release, which I thought he did a sensational job of doing stuff on. And the band, his main band itself, Abigail Williams, underwent somewhat of a musical transformation, a brand new lineup of some sorts, bringing in people from the past incarnation of Lord Mantis, to even people from the band Wolfhammer. Really solid bands in their own right, but they're bringing in parts of what they knew how to bring into a band like Abigail Williams. And now we have the fourth full-length from the band, entitled The Accuser. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around 45 minutes in length, and as is the usual case for an Abigail Williams record, don't expect to hear something very similar. There's going to be something brand new on the horizon when you listen to The Accuser, and I honestly think that this is, to me at least, a redemption of some sorts, because this is probably one of the most pissed off, angriest, and most aggressive sounding things I've ever heard Abigail Williams do. And I really like what they have done here with The Accuser, and it shows itself throughout the 8 songs that appear on this record. Pretty much you're going to get a lot of heavy black metal influences going on here, but you can tell that the influences from the other bands that these guys were involved in are showing up and creeping up very heavily here. Especially in the guitar parts. The guitar work on here is very well balanced and very loud sounding. I love the loudness of these riffs. I love the execution, the delivery. I mean, you hear it on songs like The Cold Lines and Of the Outer Darkness. Just the attention to detail being brought forth in the guitars. They sound really nice. The riff work is great. there's an almost sense of urgency when you listen to these kinds of guitar riffs. I think it's really amazing. And then you get to a song like Numite. I apologize if I say that wrong, but that's where I get a little bit of an experimental side to this band, an almost noise rock influence going on here when you listen to a song like that. But it very much feels like an Abigail Williams record. Just the execution and detail being done for those songs. I think it's very awesome, and I really appreciate the songwriting aspects of this album. The bass work on here sounds really good too. I love the way that it sounds in this album. Very audible and clear, not too overpowering or domineering. I think that this is a very solid bass tone and something to keep this album in line and together. When it comes to the drums, this is probably one of the most frantic and angry sounding drum performances I've heard on an Abigail Williams record. Charlie Fell is a very multi-talented sort of guy. He can do vocals, he can play a lot of music, but he does drums on this with this particular band, and he does drum up a storm here. The pace is relentless. Lots of emphasis on blast beats and fills. Just some great drum moments being had here, and it really shows you how much of a dynamic skill this guy has. He has a great knack for drumming going on here, and he really delivers a very entertaining performance and makes you want to listen to everything going on, even during and afterwards. I think this is a really amazing drum performance. And when it comes to the vocals, I think Ken Sorceron does some incredible vocal work here this time around. He has a very wide range when it comes to his vocal style. A lot of great shrieks, a lot of great growls, but on the Accuser, he's a lot more straight to the point. You can understand everything that he says. His delivery is very much a paramount aspect to this album. Very aggressive, very pissed off sounding. That's what I mentioned earlier, that this is probably the most pissed off sounding Abigail Williams record ever. His vocal work is intense. A lot of great screams, a lot of great growls, a lot of maniacal ideas being presented forth in his vocal delivery. The vocal work is very incredible here, and I'm really happy to hear him do the vocals that he does and say the things that he says. And even Neil from Krieg does a guest appearance on this record. His vocals are very easily recognizable, and you can distinguish who is who on this record. But overall, Ken's vocals are amazing, and as is the rest of the vocal styles being presented and represented here. It's very awesome. So overall, I love this album 10 million times more than I did Becoming. I think this latest sound for Abigail Williams is a sound that is very fitting and very perfect for what they do now. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next idea of Abigail Williams is, whether it stays in black metal or whether it doesn't. This band has my attention again, and I'm really happy to say that this is a home run in the ballpark for me. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say The Cold Lines of The Outer Darkness, Will, Wish, and Desire, and Godhead. Even a track like Forever Kingdom of Dirt. That's an amazing song too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the Candlelight Records Bandcamp page where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can buy it digitally, and you can also buy it in a physical CD version. There's also going to be a vinyl version coming very soon, so keep an eye and ear out for that. And this band also happened to have finished touring with Today's the Day. So if you happen to have seen them live, I'm very optimistic that they delivered some great performances. So again, the album is The Accuser by Abigail Williams. This is released on Candlelight Records. Go check this out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very strong 8.5 out of 10. Probably one of the best things that Abigail Williams has put out in quite a long time, and I think this could be a very good cap in their already interesting career. So if you happen to have heard this album, let me know what you think of it and where you think it lies in Abigail Williams' discography. So I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army out.